How's it going, H. Kane?
Hey, what's going on? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me all right?
I hear you good.
Perfect. I can hear you as well. All right. How's it going?
It's going. I can't complain. It's going. Second day into having braces now.
I was that's gonna be my first question. How they feel?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of things that I used to want to eat can't eat anymore. I have a soda addiction, and this is my wife's way of trying to wean me from soda, so it's not gonna work though.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I had braces, first couple of days were soft foods and milkshakes.
See, I've been hard headed. I've been eating all the stuff I shouldn't have to, but it's like I'm tired of soup. I'm tired of mashed potatoes. I'm just tired of
I understand it. Yeah, absolutely.
it.
Um, so if you just want to for those who don't know yet, if you want to introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what kind of music you make.
All right, I'm H. H Kane. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm really a hip hop artist. I like songs with stories. I like making songs with stories. I'm a lyricist. My wordplay is very, very dope. I love making songs for the ladies. I mean, yeah, MU Radio has heard me say that a million times over, but it's the truth. I just like being a well-rounded artist and making really, really good music that not only hits home for me when I'm making it, but hits home when the listeners hear it.
Absolutely. And so I've read up a little bit on your career, in your little YouTube bio and Spotify and things like that. And you've led a storied life up to this point, getting into music early and then now really starting to take it more seriously. So can you just kind of give us an overview, getting started? I know you mentioned Notorious B.I.G. was one of your inspirations and someone you studied to get into music. And then,
Mhm.
working with your mentor, taking a hiatus, flirting with a comeback in music, and then waiting until 2020 when you made your return finally. So if you can just kind of walk us through your whole career, what got you into music and all the stops along the way to where you are now.
Well, yeah, one of my good friends, his name was Antoine Ambers. He got me into music. He was a huge Master P No Limit Records fan. So he had brothers that all did music, and he just took us all under his wing as young men and wanted to model us into like the next No Limit record. So we were all recording music in like his living room and everything. And at that time, I was a young guy in elementary school, going to school with like dubbed over cassette tapes, like, "Hey, this is me rapping." And I had a little fan base because it was the cool thing. And then he got murdered. And after he got murdered, at first I lost a lot of the love for it, but then I regained it because if he was still around, then this is something that he would want us doing. So I was doing music. I did music all throughout high school, and then I started doing it even more. I went to Cardinal Stritch University. I used to put on concerts there for like the student union. I won like their battle of the bands. They started giving me like a budget so I could bring other artists through and do dope concerts for the college. And then I put out my first project, my first real project in 2007. It was entitled The Remedy Dose One. So that was supposed to be my thing to keep going with like the remedy. It was supposed to be like the remedy dose two, the remedy dose three. And then I just got off of that because I stopped doing music. No particular reason. Pretty much just became a family man, start having kids. And I just figured like, hey, I love doing music, but is music really gonna pay bills? When I realized it just wasn't in the cards anymore. So I would always listen to beats, write things like that while I wasn't doing music. And then the pandemic happened and everybody had free time. And I had nothing but free time. So I'm like, So my friend Stephen Scott Shu from Hen Nation, Hen Nation was all of us together. Like we used to just play cards, play spades, and then we would drink Hennessy. That was the drink of choice, and that's where Hen Nation came from. It was really like a brotherhood. We all used to do this. So Shu ended up purchasing a bunch of equipment, and he turned his basement into like a keepsake studio. And I would step in the studio and I would rap, and they'd be like, "You still got it, bro. You need to quit playing." That's where the baptism came from. It came from the pandemic. I dropped the whole body of work that started putting people like, who is this H Kane cat? Or for people who knew who I was, they was like, oh, H Kane's back. So the lead single Rolling did well. Then Best of Me featuring Ray Rizzy. We have a video for that on YouTube. Um, Hen Nation, the song Hen Nation did well. It's a music video for that as well. So after that, I got really good with this guy named Dooch. And me and Dooch did a project called Expect the Unexpected. It was a joint collaboration album, pretty dope album. We caught the ear, well, I caught the ear of DJ GA from 105.7. Never knew GA. GA just became a huge fan when I dropped the baptism. And GA did the intro, outro. That project did really well as well. And then I dropped Bruce City Memoirs. DJ GA did the intro for that as well. Then I took like a year and a half break, and then I just recently dropped Reach for the Sky in October of last year. And
Great
Reach for the
album.
Sky, I had Cuckoo Cal, Baby Drew, who are Milwaukee legends. I had 414 Big Frank, Dooch, Renz Young. I had Bergie Streets. I put together a body of work that was very, very amazing. Like from production to the lyrics, everything was dope. So I like doing music. I like putting out good music. I know Milwaukee is in their own lane for a lot of the things that we do on TikTok and things like that. But my music is just to separate from that and let people know we really have lyricists. We really have people who can make dope content as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, talking about what got you into music, but what would you say is your current inspiration to continue making music? Is it just kind of going against the grain and making a name for Milwaukee, or is it even something as general as like being a father and having kids now and stuff like that?
I think my biggest inspiration for making music is that underdog mentality that I've always had. Once again, Milwaukee is starting to heat up, but I also want Milwaukee to heat up towards, okay, we got people who can be on J. Cole type levels, Drake type levels. We have people who can make those. I think my biggest inspiration would be my mom. My mom's no longer here. She was one of my biggest fans. I remember I graced the cover of a local magazine once the baptism came out, and she would take the magazine to work and show all her coworkers, and they thought I was like this big celebrity and things like that. So, and still just doing everything to make her, my wife, my kids, my family proud. Just doing everything to succeed.
Yeah, very well said. And then I know you were talking there a little bit about the Milwaukee scene and trying to uplift the artists and just show that, we can be on J. Cole beats and things like that. So at MUR's Radio Roulette concert that you performed at Friday, you
Mhm.
introduced your new collective. So could you talk a little bit about that? I've been really it's really admirable the work that you're doing to try to uplift all the other artists in the Milwaukee area. So if you could just kind of talk about that new collective.
Well, that collective was really put together by Maul Napoleon and Dooch. They put everything together. I was asked to be a part of the collective. Um, and I felt like it was an honor, because it's some really dope artists that's a part of the collective, from Bergie Streets to Renz Young to Numero 8, who I came and introduced to CT, to Genesis Rangy, Emmett James. Like, we have a really dope collective, and I was asked to be a part of that. So once I was given the opportunity to perform with you guys again, I said, hey, let's go ahead and introduce other key components of this collective, because it's a lot of it's like us as a collective, we have a lot of dope things up our sleeves. We're trying to get into Summerfest this year. We're dropping our whole Good Riddance website, and we're planning on doing a big concert with all the artists. It's just a lot of great things that we got on horizon with the Good Riddance collective, and I just feel honored and privileged to be a part of such a dope, collective of artists.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to kind of touch on your creative process a little bit, you know, you've got the collective now and you can collaborate with them and bounce
Mhm.
around good ideas. But when you're working on your solo stuff just for H. Kane, what would you say you prefer to just kind of have a solitary space where you can kind of sit and write, listen to the beats and find something that really fits it well? Or do you like to kind of bounce ideas off of people in the studio and work with others?
Um, for the most part, when I'm working on a solo album, it's me in my man cave where I'm at now. In my man cave, and I'm just playing beats and I'm just writing and getting the thinking cap and writing things and be like, hey, I like that, I don't like that. And then everything really comes to life when I go to the studio and record it. I'm dropping a new single this Friday called Too Many Nights. Too Many Nights came about because Dooch is working on an incredible body of work. And it was supposed to be a song that made that album, but Dooch has so many great songs, he's confused on what's actually going to make the album. So he told me you can have the song, Kain, and it really came together like I'm sitting at his studio and I'm listening to the record. So then him and Numero go back and forth and they're singing their parts and they was like, we need a verse from you. And I wrote a verse probably within probably like 5-10 minutes at most, and I laid it down and the song just came out amazing. So I'm really excited for the world to be able to hear Too Many Nights this Friday, because it's a dope song. It'll set the mood. I want to shoot a music video for it with like a nice little party vibe to it. I think it's a record that'll be well received as well.
Very cool. And then going off of that, just to kind of look ahead, I know you talked about you know, the project that you got coming out Friday, and then
Mhm,
looking at the collective trying to get into Summerfest, opening up the website and things like that. What can
mhm.
fans expect coming from not only you, but the other Milwaukee artists that you're working with? What's the big goal right now?
um to take over.
Take-
It's just essentially to take over. Like when you hear the work that comes from every artist as a part of this collective, look out. I mean, Dooch has an amazing body of work. Numero just dropped a EP called On the Moon last week Friday. On the Moon, 5 songs, very good songs. We actually are about to remix one of the songs on his project called I-94. He sent it to me and told me he needed a verse. I have a verse that I'm going to put on it, and then we'll be re-releasing that probably as a single and shooting a video for that. I have an untitled project that I'm starting to work on now. Um, Maul is working on things. Bergie is working on things. CT is working on things. Genesis just dropped a project and a single. CT is working on a project now. Like everybody's just working. And I mean, I just feel like it's good when all the creative juices are flowing and you can expect to hear a lot of each other on each other's projects. So the future is very, very bright. Sky's the limit. We're gonna keep putting out great content. I do thank you guys over there at Marquette Radio for opening up the doors to a new, a fan base. From the very first concert that I came, All the Rhythm, you guys were amazing. Like I still watch my set probably once or twice a week because I was just like, man, the crowd was so into it. And then giving me the opportunity to come back and unleash the collective. I didn't get the results that I wanted to get as far as the whole voting thing, but I'm still proud nonetheless of me and the guys and the show we did put on. So
Absolutely. And it was very intensely debated between the judges.
I believe it because when the other two guys walked up to me and was like, it was we just want you to know it was very, 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 very tough to make this decision. And I was like, hey, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to rock out with these guys twice. It's fine. So congratulations to Aya. Congratulations to Rotunda. I was glad that I was given the opportunity yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just one last question here. So as you kind of work to help establish the Milwaukee scene, you're helping to shape the culture as well for these
Mhm.
current artists who are working, but also to the youth who are looking up to the artists in the local scene now. So being someone who's a seasoned veteran, can you kind of speak from experience? And if you were to give advice to anyone currently in the local Milwaukee scene, or just making music in general, what would you say to them, someone who's just getting started, to kind of find their footing, and something that you might have wanted to know when you were getting started making music?
Go full throttle. As cliche as it sounds, you can't give up on yourself. You never give up. I gave up on myself several times. I've debated with people who wanted me not to do music, wanted me to give up music, things like that. And I just feel like if you really have a talent, you really have a calling, you really have a gift, you have to give it your all. You can't put the naysayers out of sight, out of mind, and make sure your music has a message. Don't just make music just to make music and say, "Hey, that's me, everybody." No, make sure your music has a message, whether it's something internally for you or externally that the world needs to know. Like you need to just make sure your music has a message. Make sure it's very thought out. Make sure you're not afraid to spend the money on quality production. Um, Make sure it sounds good. Make sure one thing I'm still learning and fighting with doing is making radio edits. Make sure you have a radio edit. It's a lot of radio stations, whether you know it or not, that will play your music. Make sure you have radio edits to some of your singles and things like that. And like I said, just go all in on yourself. Put all the chips in on the table on yourself and just reap the rewards.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much not only for coming to the interview today, but for everything that you've done
Uh,
with the Marquette Radio so far. We've really appreciated collaborating with you and hope to continue to in the future.
Most
So
definitely.
I know you mentioned the project you got coming out, so everyone be sure to check out H. Kain on all streaming platforms, and feel free to plug anything else that you've got going right now.
Untitled project probably dropping late summer. New single once again, Too Many Nights featuring Dooch and Numero 8 drops this Friday on all digital streaming platforms. Um, the Good Riddance Collective, the website, everything going on. Marquette has been amazing to me, and my fan base and things like that. So I thank you once again. Anything you guys need from me, I don't care what it is, call me. I'm there for you guys at the drop of a dime. My Instagram is at HKAIN414. That's the same as far as my YouTube page, with my content and everything. It's a lot of good content on there, a lot of behind the scene things. So follow that and just stream the music.
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much. Do you have any closing remarks, stuff you want to leave the people with?
Stream the music.
Love to hear it. All right. Thank you so much again for coming on today, H. Kane.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
You as well.